Good morning, quilt people and seekers of the world. How are you? I'm doing great. I am super happy to be back. Little check-in on this 1st of February, 2024. So where are we in the work? It's such an exciting time for me, anyhow, in my process, in my personal evolution of self through the writing of these books and the continuing of, just chasing down what's true for me, right? I keep coming into contact with just more and more things that ask you to do one thing and one thing only. And that's to see the perfection in everything. Can you do it? Can you see perfection in the world right now? Or do you see chaos? Right? The one thing I have learned most through this entire process is that there is only perfection. Look around. The trees, the mountains, our ducks, our dogs, right? And I'm not saying that there's only perfection because we live in the middle of the woods, right? Not being assaulted by others. Not that there isn't the news and the internet as well. But still, there is only perfection. And it's up to us whether we want to see it or not. Let's do a little exercise, okay? So, in our morning meditation, we do what? We connect to self. We abandon all else, knowing that the number one enemy in the work is illusion. And anything that's not happening in the present moment is illusion. The future is illusion. The past is illusion. The present moment, this moment right here, that's perfection. That's perfection. This moment right here where you connect deeply to self and to spirit, right? And then start to expand your presence, right, into the matrix so that you're affecting it. It's not affecting you. What I've been chasing in here more than anything is honesty and truth, fueled by curiosity. This is work that you can do to find out what's true for you, to find out what your limiting beliefs are. There is only perfection, and your limiting beliefs and your attachment to what's right or what's wrong is what's making you crazy. And that's optional. Right? There is only perfection right here, right now. Right? None of the rest of the world is happening. I am present to myself. I honor myself. Self-honor is something that the indigenous people take far more seriously than those of us in the Western world, right? How much time are you spending a day honoring self, blessing self, right? Because all the gifts, all the power, right, is only going to be imbued into your way by one person only, and that's you. Personal power can only ever be self-granted. Granted to self. And when you discover that, that all the power, all the gifts, all the good stuff, right, is only ever going to be self-granted, and that every day we can bathe ourselves in our words, right? Use your words like a sound bath to bathe yourself, right? Bring in all the gifts, bring in all the power, right? Because all the power's got to live in here if you want to be powerful. Where we get off is in creating false gods for ourselves, right? Anything outside of our container that we give power to, whether it's a family member, whether it's a Facebook post, whether it's the president, whether it's any of these things, anything we give power to that lives outside of us is a false god. That's why I stopped doing these videos, right? Because I felt the pull, right? The pull, right? That I would be creating a false god for myself by creating these videos and an audience and all of that. I didn't want to turn that into a false god. I didn't want that to be power that I was, creating out in the world that was living outside of my container. No more false gods. No more false gods. Anything that I'm feeling some kind of way about that's living outside of me isn't me, right? It's like a little effigy, right? An effigy is like a little token of something that you might put either near a person or a house or a situation that you want to constantly feed energy to, right? That's an effigy. So we create these little effigies. It's this crappy Facebook post. It's something that's going on political. It's something that's going on with my neighbor. It's something that's going on with this, that, and the other person. No. The shift will happen when we stop seeing things as good and bad, right? Because that's always going to be a personal judgment call, right? What's good to me is not good to others, and vice versa. The evolution will happen. And I believe that this is coming, that this is actually already starting to unravel, and I believe that this is what, historically speaking, they have referred to as the rapture, right? Only the rapture won't be people flying off into space and growing wings or whatever mystical, magical thing that you think that doesn't actually ever happen on Earth, right? People don't generally just fly up into the sky. Not that I've seen, right? So the evolution, the entire paradigm shift will happen when we stop seeing things as good and bad, but rather seeing it either as loving or as toxic, right? Where on that scale of loving to toxic are you? Because if you're righteous in any kind of way, right, you're way down here in the basement, energetically speaking. If you are filling your container with words like sin, abomination, that's in the basement. That's unhealthy, that's toxic. Again, if we look at our words like a sound bath that you're bathing in every day, what are you bathing in? What's the words that you're using to either inspire your container or to beat yourself down? It's up to you. Your personal happiness will be self-made and self-granted. Your personal power will be self-made and self-granted, right? The evolution will happen when we stop seeing things as good and bad and change to loving versus toxic, right? Because that can be seen by more people, right? Your personal version of what's right and wrong, only you see that, right? But what's loving versus toxic, right? That's a whole different way to assess the world. Because now we're not looking at, are you a Republican or a Democrat? We're looking at, are you being a toxic person in the world? Are you being righteous? Are you trying to fix things? Are you invested in justice? No opinions, ever. No, you don't get opinions. You do not get an opinion on any of this. If you're serious about escaping the density of good and bad and right and wrong, that's an inside job. Stop associating with your ego. Stop languaging story. Story that happens in your head is the voice of the ego. Well, he did this and she did that, and I know. And then it was like, that other thing that happened? When you're languaging anything that's not currently happening, you're dealing in ego and illusion. He said this, she said that, blah, blah, blah. I'm lost in space. I'm not conscious to the present moment. I'm totally checked out. I'm investing in my ego and making sure that it makes absolute certain that in all things I feel righteous. The problem is, hate doesn't feel like hate on the inside. Hate feels like righteousness, like certainty, right? And that's why it's so attractive, right? Because you can be certain in the world. You have a set of rules and principles that you know is true, and it's either right or it's wrong. And I don't care how toxic I need to be in proving to you that your way is wrong, because your way is wrong. There's no good. There's no bad. There's no other people behaving in any other way other than them being loving or toxic, including ourselves. I regret how toxic I have been in here. I see it now. Because before I was adjudicating everything by, well, that's not right. Well, that's the right way to do it. That's good. I can allow that. That's okay. But this other, there's no way I can ever allow this to exist. No fixing. No fighting. If what you're after is inner peace, which is evolution, if what you're saying you want lives in the world of inner peace, all you have to do is drop your weapons. Drop your weapons. Drop your weapons. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's only loving versus toxic, right? Because where we're getting to is the world seeing things differently, is us seeing ourselves differently. Peacemakers bring peace. Warriors bring war. We have a lot of warriors in the world, don't we? I used to be a warrior, right? A justice warrior, seeking out how to make things better, seeking out how to punish the evil, seeking how to end things. I regret how toxic I have been in the world. But ultimately, we are not responsible for that, for the energy that we brought into this world. Until we can recognize it, until we can see it, until there is some evolution of self that leads us towards the enlightenment, the understanding, right? That I'm either going to be a peacemaker in the world or I'm going to be a warrior. Do I want to bring peace or do I want to bring war? There's enough war. Take down the temperature of the country, of yourself, of your community. Bring love where there is not. We're all after the same thing. We just can't see it, right? Because there's only perfection. Where do we find it? Right here. Right here. Right here. Because if you can't look at the folly of man and say that's God's plan, you don't understand how God works. It's all on time. It's all right on time. And it's all in good care. And it's not up to you. Exhale. Bring down the temperature. Be seated in self, knowing there is only perfection if you're not seeing it. If you can't get there, if your mind is hardwired to justice or good and bad or right and wrong, right? I can help you escape that if you want to. I have started seeing people for a few months now in healing sessions and shamanic healing sessions. A lot of that has to do with energy work, right? In the same way that you'd hire a shaman to come into your house and clear the energy and clear the space and clear the room, right, of any old occupants, any old energy, right? We do the same with people, right? Oh. Right, and it's just moving the energy around within yourself, right? Because energy is just emotions, right? And understanding how you're vibing and understanding how powerful you are in manifesting your entire life. The entire thing has been manifested by you. The problem is, we're not doing it consciously, and so we manifest chaos. But once you escape the paradigm of the ego, and there is only love, and there's either love or there's toxic behavior. And so what are you going to bring into this situation? More toxic behavior to deal with toxic behavior? Or are you going to bring love to the situation where there is not? I'm more interested in doing the latter. And I know that I've had a fairly explosive and toxic journey in order to get to this point, right? Because as you elevate in your consciousness, things that seem right and wrong just get clearer and stronger, right? And until you break through to the smooth air that there is only love, that there is only perfection, right? It's us that leave it in search of other things. But we can always come back to perfection if we know where to find it. That's where we are today. I want to thank you so much. I just wanted to come in here and do a little check-in for myself. I'm finding a way to do this on my own terms that doesn't involve the hook of the ego. And so I'm just going to do it along those lines. I'm not going to put any attention or energy into getting followers or anything like that. I'm purely doing this for my own learning, quite frankly. And if that's attractive to others and they want to come on the journey, I'm so happy to share with them what I have learned and what I have found for myself. I'm not at war anymore with myself. I have ended all false gods and all fires and anything outside him. All the power has to live inside, and that's where it does, and that's what I've been after. I hope that you're well. I hope that you got something out of this, and I will probably doing a few more videos as we move forward. I have a really big book launch coming up for Foreign to Me. This is the third version of the book that we're finally, putting out, but with anticipation of it being turned into a film. That's right. A woman from the LA Times who runs the LA Times Festival of Books has optioned it to turn it into a movie. And so that's happening. We'll probably have the script done by September of 24. And then we already have so many people asking for it just based off of the books themselves. So it'll be a really interesting path. I am so thrilled to have gotten to a place where I understand how to manifest my life without struggle, without chasing, without energy. If you want that kind of personal power or inner peace, message me anywhere. Everywhere on social media is at Dale Allen Rouse. Right? My website is daleallenrouse.com. I want to help you. There's no cost. The benefit to me is in practicing, right? In showcasing for myself, right? And showing, right, to the universe that I know what I'm doing. There's some things there's only so much you can do on your own, right? At some point, I need to put my hands on people and see if what I've learned for myself transfers to others. Like I said, I've been seeing people a few months now, and it's the most incredible work. Because what I'm doing is I'm turning your lights on. I'm getting you reconnected to the power of you, right? No more victimhood. It's not happening to you, right? What we're trying to get you to is the matrix isn't happening to you. You're happening to the matrix. I can help get you there. Anyways, that's where we are today. I hope that you're doing well, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye.